Oh, yeah. Is it Tuesday? Oh, it's Monday. Is it Monday already? Wow. Skeleton Crew episode 4 is tomorrow, chat. So we have to predict all what we think is going down in tomorrow's episode, but we also have to talk about the possibility of the fan favorite character, Din Djarin, and of course, the baby, Grogu, coming in this Skeleton Crew series. What that could possibly look like, when they could possibly show up, and will it be tomorrow? Maybe, but maybe not. Let's talk about episode 4 of Skeleton Crew and the rest of the season moving past it, because we don't know anything about the rest of this show. But without further ado, let's dive into all of it. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing on this fine Monday afternoon? Yes, that's right. We are live on a Monday because Skeleton Crew comes out on Tuesday nights. So we're not doubling up the stream. We're just predicting on Mondays so more people have time to have some fun and predict the 4th episode. Is that too crazy, chat? No. So it's Monday and we are live. So let's say hi to everybody in the chat, shall we? And while I do that, throw in your craziest predictions for this 4th episode of the Skeleton Crew series. Okay. Nick, what is up? Brandon Baker in the house. Fick Hone, how we doing? Chris, what is up? King Shadow, how we doing? Brandon Tran in the house. Ben, what is up? Trent, how we doing? Thomas, what is up? B-Man in the house. Mike, great name. How we doing? Starchip66, how we doing? Marcus, what is up? Tafari Tano, how we doing? Nathan, what is up? Rebel Sith, how we doing? And if I missed you, you guys know the deal. Just yell at me in the chat. Let's give everybody a nice little
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Okay, so let's talk about this 4th episode of Skeleton Crew. Yes, this will be the halfway mark of the Skeleton Crew series, which is kind of a bummer, but I will say the posters and trailers that we keep getting for this show are not really revealing any new scenes, meaning the back half of this season, episode 5, 6, 7, 8, are all going to be very new, very surprising, with a bunch of twists and turns that nobody expects because we haven't seen anything from those episodes. Meaning this treasure that we're probably going to see in episode 5 is not the end goal of this Skeleton Crew series. There is something greater in the works for this show. Now, what that could be, whether it's related to Din Djarin and Grogu and the possibly setting up the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, or Grand Admiral Thrawn, or something completely different from all of that, well, we'll just speculate about it today. But episode 4 is tomorrow, and we're going to specifically focus on that episode because it might be insane. It's going to focus a lot on NEEL, from what we've heard, and it will be directed by the Daniels. So let's talk about it a little bit, shall we? Now, throw in your craziest predictions in the chat. We'll get to all of them. Don't you worry about it. The Walking Carpet Galactic Review. How we doing? Great name, by the way. But we'll get to all of it. Don't you worry about that. But first things first, let's talk about this 4th episode, okay? Oh, hang on. Let me scroll back up here so I don't lose that. Perfect. Okay. So, before the Skeleton Crew aired, or began airing, I should say, we got the list of directors for each individual episode, and episode 4 is the Daniels. So, if you don't know who the hell the Daniels are, they're the guys who direct. Oh, hang on. Let me fix that. They're the guys who directed Everything Everywhere All at Once, and something else that I'm blanking on the name, but Everything Everywhere All at Once won the Academy Award for Best Movie last year. So they're pretty good at their jobs, to say the least. However, they were brought on to Skeleton Crew, and the reason they're called the Daniels is because their first names are both Daniels, or Daniel, not Daniels, Daniel, so they're called the Daniels. But take a look at this. This is the list of all the directors for the Skeleton Crew series. So John Watts did episode 1, and the last 2 episodes that we saw, episode 2 and 3, were both David Lowery, and they're pretty damn good. So now we got episode 4, the Daniels, the Academy Award-winning directors for the best movie of the year last year, are doing episode 4 of the Skeleton Crew series. Episode 5 is Jake Schreier, you know. He's the guy who directed the Thunderbolts for the MCU, which comes out next year. He's also the guy who worked, or actually maybe that was David Lowery. I'm not too sure. But Jake does episode 5. Bryce Dallas Howard, a fan favorite in the Star Wars community, does episode 6. And episode 7 is Lee Isaac Chung, which happens to be Jude Law. I keep calling Jude Law Jod now, and it's really messing with my head. But Jude Law's favorite episode, because that's when we're going to learn all about the backstory of Jod Nawud, and then the show ends with how it began, John Watts, which is pretty cool. But we're focusing on episode 4 here. So episode 4 is The Daniels. Now, why is this important? Well, we've seen some behind-the-scenes looks at this upcoming episode, and that gives us the information of what's going to happen in this upcoming episode. And as you saw in the thumbnail of this stream, this image of NEEL and this random new girl character off to his right can be seen. Now, the big thing I want to focus on here, and I have no idea what it means, but we're going to speculate about it a shit ton today, is this. If I can... there we go. Is this. This weird 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dot symbol. I don't even know. I don't know what to call it. We've seen a lot of symbols that look kind of like this, like the Republic symbol is that shape. The rebellion symbol is kind of that. Like, there's a lot of symbols in Star Wars that have that shape to it, but they're not 7 dots. So we're going to talk about what that could mean and how it pertains to this upcoming episode. But this is going down in the next episode. In a NEEL-centered episode is not really... I mean, I wouldn't have predicted it coming. The way that this show is going, it seems to be focusing on all these different characters at the same time while doing a very good job at it. Being able to focus on who is Jod Nawud while also developing these kid characters, while also giving the mystery of Atten. They've been doing a great job balancing the works of all these different things, juggling them all in the air at the same time. To focus on NEEL for a specific episode seems a little strange to me. So let's talk about it. That's why this is the thumbnail of the live stream. So, a little behind the scenes type thing. About 2 weeks ago, 13 days ago, 2 weeks ago, they released this trailer for Skeleton Crew that's titled Skeleton Crew: The Daniels. Okay? So they're directing this 4th episode. Let's watch this. Now, a lot of the scenes are not new, but there are a few new ones.
Before we ever shot, we went and had lunch with a bunch of the kids to try to get to know them. It took them like 2 minutes to start roasting us.
My favorite was Robert heard you laugh, and he said, "Why does your laugh sound like you're dying inside?"
Yeah, that was like his initial roast. And,
I mean, he was not wrong.
No.
The best gift that, John Watts and the rest of his team gave us as directors was the cast. They all offer something surprising in different ways, and like the kids gave every crew member a nickname based on their actual name. For the Daniels, they call us the Donuts.
Got it?
Yeah, makes complete sense.
It was like we were showing up in the middle of summer camp, and they had already had adventures and factions and backstories and inside jokes, and it was fun to step into that world.
Okay, so I think there was 2 or 3 new scenes that are extremely important for this upcoming 4th episode, and maybe even past that. Now, the first one was pretty early on here. Let me go back.
It took them like 2 minutes to start roasting us.
My favorite was Robert heard you laugh, and he said, "Why does your laugh sound like you're dying inside?"
Yeah, that was like his...
So this is the behind the scenes of the 4th episode. You can see the Daniels right here. Boom, boom. And that means this is the 4th episode. It's the only one they worked on. So here we have NEEL, and what's behind him is sort of a wreckage of some sort. You can see on the left, you guys can't really see that. On the left there, it's a pretty destroyed building from the looks of it. And of course, this is all sort of blasters have been shot at it. As you can see, there's like blaster marks all over it with the black sort of ash look to it. So clearly there's some sort of war going on here. Keep that in mind, because the end of the 3rd episode, it didn't look like we were going into a war. No, not at all. Actually, we ended off with our owl character named Kim, who seemed to give our heroes their way back home. She seemed to have found Atten in the coordinates back to Atten, and then Jod and the kids stole those coordinates and left, jumping into hyperspace, to which we assumed was to go back home. I don't think so. I mean, tell me what you think in the chat, but I don't think they're going back to Atten this episode. I don't think so at all. We're only 4 episodes into an 8-episode series, and the goal of the series is to get these kids back home. I don't think they're getting home this episode. I don't think that's gonna happen. Now, what happened to the coordinates? Were the coordinates wrong? Did the hyperspace break? Did they fall out of hyperspace? What happened? Why are they not going back home? Well, that's a question, I guess, that will be revealed tomorrow, and please answer it in the chat because I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know why they aren't going back home. Kim seemed to think she knew where this planet was and gave them the coordinates unwillingly, but I don't know. Doesn't really make much sense to me at all. However, we do know that this next episode will have some sort of war or battle inside of it on this planet that isn't at Aten, or at least so we think. So, this is a little bit of behind the scenes with this sort of war-torn planet.
Initial roast.
I mean, he was not wrong.
No.
This is a scene we haven't seen yet. I'm actually convinced almost fully that this is at Aten where they're arriving. If you look on the side here, there's like grassy fields over to the left. I don't know if it is, but it surely looks like it. And it almost looks like the Onyx Cinder has gotten some upgrades as this is very shiny and new. So I would assume this is sort of later on in the series, but probably not in episode 4.
The best gift that, John Watts and the rest of his team gave us as directors was the cast. They all offer.
This is a new scene. Now, I actually don't think this will be in episode 4 either, but it is a new scene nonetheless. Now, Wim is supporting this sort of all purple jumpsuit type looking thing, which he's not wearing, unless it's just some weird coloring thing, but it looks purple to me. Either way, this is obviously not going to be the 4th episode because they're with their parents. That's Fern's mom, that's Wim's dad, and they're back home, at least so we think. They're in some sort of weird room. Maybe this is them going face to face with the supervisor. Or supervisor? It's the supervisor, right? The weird, mysterious supervisor who controls all of these, all the people on Aten and keeps them secret or keeps them safe, at least so they believe. Maybe they're confronting him. They're confronting the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain type deal. That could be going on here. There's something weird behind them. I don't know what this is. I have no idea. And there's a symbol right there on the wall too. I don't know. They do seem pretty perplexed by what they're looking at. I mean, they look pretty shocked right there. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here, but I don't think it's episode 4 because they're back home.
For something surprising in different ways, and like the kids gave every crew member a nickname based on their actual name. For the Daniels, they call us the Donut.
So this again is sort of the behind the scenes of that war-torn planet. As the Daniels are working with the kids here, there's a little kid off to the side here. He's got some sort of weapon in his hands and some sort of mask as well. Keep that in mind. 1, that he's a kid, and 2, that he's sort of geared out for a war. Because we're going to get into this in a second, but there's another frame here.
Donuts.
Got it?
Yeah, makes complete sense.
It was like we were showing up in the middle of summer camp, and they had already had adventures and factions and backstories. And
This, I don't think is going to be episode 4 either. They're on this snowy mountainy planet, which I don't think we'll be going to until at least episode 5. But keep that in mind.
inside jokes, and it was fun to step into that world.
I guess that's it. So we had those 3 or 4 new scenes that will be very, very important for this 4th episode. However, there was another panel with all the directors except for the Daniels, and they weren't able to go there or something, but they talk about them quite a bit, and we get to see some, again, behind the scenes looks at what they were doing. So let's take a look at this.
Best.
I know the Daniels through their DP, Larkin Seipel, who Jake has worked with. He shot all of Beef. And so we've all been friendly, and they're just like such amazing, creative guys.
When we hired them, that was before.
So this is the same scene that we, same 2 scenes actually that we got in the last trailer.
When we hired them.
We get a better look at this kid's mask though. It looks sort of alien-esque, like the alien, or Predator, I should say.
That was before Everything Everywhere came out. We knew they would be awesome.
This is another look at a kid who looks to be almost like a sort of homeless kid or something like that, where he's in some sort of war outfit and he's eating some gross looking food. And they're on a very dirty, war-torn planet. Again.
Their whole aesthetic is just so original and amazing.
We wanted them, and we wanted Lee Isaac Chung. Minari is like the most moving story of like a little boy going into
So then they go into Lee Isaac Chung.
When we hired them, that was before Everything Everywhere came out. We knew they would be awesome.
So strangely enough, when we're looking at this sort of war-torn planet with all these different kids, the big thing is, yes, it's a war zone. Yes, we're not going back to At in this episode. But the big thing is they're all kids. It's weird. I haven't seen a single adult. And now if we go back to the original trailer for Skeleton Crew, we get a frame of them fighting as well.
What are you in for?
All right, fast forward.
Coming.
Right there. Again, kid. They look like kids off to the side over here. Not too sure. But not a single adult there. And not even Jodna Nawood is there either. So something weird is going down. And by the way, there's our symbol again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dots on the helmet. I don't know what's going on with that. But some point in this next episode, this 4th episode directed by the Daniels, that's going to focus on NEEL, we're going to see this sort of war or battle for this planet that doesn't look like At-Aten, could possibly be At-Aten, but Jodna Nawood isn't there from at least all the scenes that we've seen, and they're all kids. All of them. So my question to you, chat, is what the hell is going on? What is this next episode? From where we left off with episode 3, it doesn't seem like this is where we're going. Episode 3, we got to go see this owl character. She was awesome. She knew all about the galaxy. She knew about At-Aten. She filled us in on those other 8 planets that were hidden away. They were the jewels of the old republic. She blew our minds a little bit. And then we took the coordinates back to At-Aten and we blasted off into hyperspace, seemingly going towards At-Aten. Somehow, some way, we end up on this planet in the middle of a war where there's only kids fighting in the war? What's going on here, chat? Now, I do have a theory to this. I do. But tell me what you think in the chat. Tell me what you think in the chat, chat. And I'll give you my theory while you type, okay? My theory is this. The owl, Kim, did not find At-Aten. However, she did find another one of those hidden planets, those jewels of the old republic, as it were. One of the ones that was destroyed a long time ago, as she said. Now, who destroyed it is going to be very important in this 4th episode. Whether it's pirates, whether it's Grand Admiral Thrawn and the remnant of the Empire, whether it's somebody else. I don't know. But either way, they're going to come upon a very At-Aten-like planet. Almost like somebody was mentioning in the chat a couple streams ago, a cloned version of At-Aten, a cloned planet almost, the exact same planet. But this time, it's not going to be the sort of nice suburbs of Star Wars that we've never seen before. It's going to be absolutely decimated, like just complete war zone. And the kids are going to come into that war zone and try to help the people of this planet because that's what they do. For some reason, they like to help people. I don't know what it is, but they like action, they like adventure, and they like to help people. So that's what they're going to do. Now, is Jodna Nawood going to help? Maybe, but he's not in any of these scenes. All these scenes from the upcoming episode, I don't see Jod anywhere. Nowhere. But let's talk about it. Is it possible that all 8 of those other planets, because there was 9 of them, 9 total, At-Aten being the one that still remains, and then the other 8 that were destroyed, is it possible that all 8 of those other destroyed planets were just exact copies, carbon copies of At-Aten? We still don't know what this great work is working towards. The kids were talking about it a little bit in episode 3 about how it might have to do with money in the credits that they have that are old Republic credits. But we don't know what the real purpose is for those 9 hidden planets. Who hid them away, why they hid them away, what the real great works is, we don't know. No idea. It will likely be revealed by the end of this show, but right now we have no idea. But what if all 9 of those planets were the exact same? And now we're going to a very similar looking planet to At-Aten, but it's not At-Aten. And it's just a complete destroyed version of it. Tell me what you think. Because we were currently, at the end of episode 3, on our way to At-Aten. I don't think we're going to At-Aten this week. Just a hunch. I don't think so. I don't. Now, I will bring up that the next episode is directed by Jake Schreier. And we, using our great detective minds, figured out that Jake Schreier's episode will be the one where they find the treasure. Meaning, at some point, they're going to find this treasure within the next 2 episodes. So, some have called it a sort of slow start to this Skeleton Crew show, which I find ridiculous. But when you look at it, they've left the planet at the end of episode 1. They sort of got into this conflict. They got captured by the pirates. They escaped the pirates. They go off to find Jod's friend, the owl. Yeah, it's not a slow start, but some people have called it a slow start. If we are really going to find the treasure by episode 5, that's in 2 episodes. We're going to have to hit the ground running pretty quickly in this 4th episode and 5th episode to find the treasure by the end of it. And then what happens after that? We have no idea. We don't know what the end game is for this Skeleton Crew series. We're trying to piece it together as we go. We've been trying to piece it together from the start because they've been keeping everything a secret. From murderous pirates to murderous bounty hunters to murderous who knows what. I don't know, chat. Tell me what you think in the chat. All right, let's check out some chat right now because I'm pretty far behind already. Rebel Sit says, yo, what's up, Mike? At work. Once again, I find these prediction chats as the highlight of my day. Wow. Same here, but I appreciate that. Says, looking forward to it. Love seeing how right and wrong we are. I think we're more likely to be wrong, but I will say, rewind about a week from today, last Monday, all of our predictions, for the most part, came true. We were talking about how that episode was going to be about them escaping the pirate port, maybe going to see the owl character, and that's exactly what we got to see. I'm sure we were wrong a lot more than that, but we were pretty right last week. I wonder how right we are this week. We do know it's the Daniels directing it, and we do know it's probably going to be a NEEL-centered episode with these kids fighting a war on some war-torn planet. But yes, it's fun to see how right and wrong we can be. Some people who are like, oh yeah, I don't know. Some of you guys had some crazy theories on Saturday. I forget what they even are. Yeah. I think At-Aten was hidden during the formation of the Republic / Proto-Republic, maybe from the Rakatans. Wow. But they remained in communication with the rest of the galaxy until the first Jedi and Sith war. The Sith hunted, found, raided, and destroyed all the other 8 jewels of the Old Republic, and the Senate voted to hide and cut off communications for the people in the surviving 1 remaining planet. Whoa. Who eventually stopped responding to the incoming messages. All records were lost, and no one knew how to contact or find them. Wow. Okay, so you're saying that these planets were hidden before the Sith and the Jedi even went into their first war together. So you're talking tens of thousands of years ago. And then when the Sith sort of became powerful in the galaxy, they went and destroyed 8 of the 9 hidden planets. But the Republic hid 1 of them away and cut off all communications so that the Sith couldn't find them. Now that's crazy. I don't know how much we're going to really tie into Jedi and Sith in this show, but it would be pretty wild if we did. I will say that. I like the theory quite a bit. Then maybe Palpatine or a Sith found At-Aten and forced the supervisor to continue to remain loyal to something else. And maybe it's the creation of the First Order. I have heard this First Order theory quite a bit. I actually think it's probably less likely now than ever that it has anything to do with the First Order, because it's so old. At-Aten has been hidden away for so long that I don't think it has any possibility of actually being connected to the First Order, because the First Order is a very new thing in the galaxy. Yeah, I seriously doubt it. But I like the theory. I like the theory nonetheless. Oh, just go down to the bottom. Are you kidding me? All right, let's go back up here. Anthony says, Mike, is it just me, or does this clip of Wim, Fern, and their respective parents looking at the scene of the Wizard of Oz type, so you wanted to see the wizard/supervisor? Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that. I think that scene of them looking up at something in shock is probably going to be them figuring it out, or meeting him at least. Yeah, whoever the supervisor may be. You can tell me in the chat who you think it is. All right, let's put up a poll in this chat, shall we? And if you haven't smashed a freaking like in the stream, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. Get on it. But let's put up a poll. Let's put up a poll. Are we going back to Atten? Actually, let me phrase this differently. Are the kids going back to Atten in episode 4? Yes or no? Not are we going back to Atten, because I think we could be getting some sort of Wim's dad, Fern's mom type sequence, but are the kids going back to Atten in episode 4? Tell me in the chat. Yes or no? I think no. I think we're going to be going to a sort of very similar looking planet to Atten, but I don't think it will be Atten specifically. Now, if you do say yes, please tell me how that's going to work. We're going back home that quickly? What about the whole transmission from Fern's mom saying, if you read this, please be safe, or whatever it said in the first trailer? Also, you got to think about Wim's dad and all of his investigation work that he does in the trailer. Let's go back here. Let's go back to this trailer.
Something's wrong.
This. We haven't seen this yet. And I actually think this could be in tomorrow's episode, in episode 4, where Wim's dad and Fern's mom are looking for the kids and trying to put into their own hands type deal.
They're not going to just turn up.
And we see Wim's dad looking into something.
They're not going to,
with the robots watching over him,
just turn up.
I can't wait till we meet the supervisor, because I hope it's a human, or at least an alien. I hope it's not a droid. It probably will be, because he's supposed to be alive for this long. But I hope it's a person or an alien and not a droid, because I hope he's just sitting in front, or she's sitting in front of just a bunch of screens, and it's all the different security droids with all their different feeds coming in. It would be so cool.
Need to find them.
Somebody was talking about this in the Discord. If you guys are not yet in the Discord, there's a link in the description below to a Discord called The People Who Love Star Wars. Go join it immediately. But
not going to just turn up.
We were talking about what can we really see in the reflection of his glasses here. Now, I did pull up the image of this, so let me pull this up real quick. Yeah, so take a look at this. Let's zoom in on this. What can we really see in the reflection of his glasses? Nothing really. It's hard to tell. There's obviously some sort of circular feature on the side, on the right side. Maybe some sort, like that might be the planet of Atten, and that's like the barrier around it. And maybe somehow, some way, he's going to turn off the barrier. That's a possibility. Maybe Wim's dad is actually the supervisor. No, I don't think so. I think the whole Wim's dad, everybody hating Wim's dad thing is because obviously he's a bad parent to start, and that's for a reason. Like, he's supposed to be the bad parent, and his kid wants to get away from him, and that's why he goes off on this adventure. But I think his dad's going to come back around. He's going to have a redemption arc of his own in trying to save the kids. Yeah. But it does look like some sort of planet or something that he's looking at over here. Maybe, just maybe, he has enough control to maybe hack in or somehow turn off the barrier around the planet. That'd be pretty wild. Wim's mom is the supervisor. Now, that's a different theory. Wim's mom definitely has some sort of importance to this story. Yeah. Dots are planets. Yeah, you do see a few dots over here. So maybe these are planets or moons around Atten. I wonder if Atten knows that there are 8 other planets. They must, because they're talking about how Aten is going to contribute to the great works, meaning they know that there are other planets out there that are also contributing to these great works. So it's possible that Aten does know, the people there do know, that there are 8 other planets working towards the same goal as them. So maybe he's looking at those other 8 planets and maybe trying to contact them. It's possible he's trying to contact the Republic himself. Maybe he'll find out that the Republic doesn't exist anymore. That would be pretty wild. A shock to all. Like, these kids just left the planet, and they know that the Republic is gone, or at least something else is going on in the galaxy, and it's not as safe and fun and cool as they thought it was. But the people still on Aten have no idea. They're still living in this fake Truman Show type world where what they think is true just isn't. Why can't they just check the flight logs for their way back home? Well, that's not really how ships work in Star Wars, sadly. They tried to go through SM-33's memory to try and get back to the planet, but he didn't remember it either. They said that the creature in his head was eating at his memory core, but I think there might be something more to that he wasn't supposed to remember Aten. Yeah. Pam Hill, what's up? But either way, whatever he's looking at here is going to be important, and it could happen in tomorrow's episode. That's the biggest thing. This could be happening tomorrow in episode 4.
We need to find them.
We're not alone down here.
Oh, be warned.
I don't know when this happens. It could be... This could be episode 5. I really don't know. I don't know. This seems to be the planet where the treasure is, but I don't know if it's episode 5 or not.
Be warned of booby traps. Pirates. And mountains where none dare to go.
If you hear this,
So this holo message
you hear this.
from Fern's mom. So there's a few things going on in this. One, they're not back home yet, clearly, because their mom is calling out to them. And two, this is the Onyx Cinder. This is their ship. But that's not the kids. This is one of the pirates from the first episode of the show that works for Captain Brutus now. And I'm assuming this is one of them too. So the pirates have taken over the Onyx Cinder. And as you can tell in the outside the cockpit, they're in space. So their ship has been boarded or taken by the pirates. Somehow. Now, this theory just popped into my head, and tell me what you think. But what if Jod screws the kids over and stabs them in the back and leaves them out to die, and he blasts off in the Onyx Cinder? That Onyx Cinder he brings back to the pirates with this massive treasure and tells them, look, I did it. Told you, I'm your captain. I'm the best. I'm the man. Here's your treasure. That's why the pirates are on the ship. However, they don't take him back. Instead, they take the treasure and they take him captured again and blah, 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 blah. The kids somehow find that out, and now it becomes not only did Jod save them, but they have to go save him. It's a possibility. Again, crazy theory. But is any theory too crazy? We are talking about 9 hidden planets from the Old Republic era, titled The Jewels of the Old Republic. But for some reason, the pirates have taken the Onyx Cinder and are listening to Wim's mom's holo message.
Don't give up. No matter what.
In the treasure room. Which I don't think is on Aten. I think it's on the snowy planet.
Don't give up.
There's so little that we know about going into these next 5 episodes. It's absolutely insane. It's crazy. Yeah. But tell me what you think in the chat. All right. Let me scroll up here for a sec so I can catch up here. Mike, have you heard that Kim's species has been possibly revealed to be Charalian. Charalian? The creature goes as far back as 1977's concept art book for A New Hope. That's pretty wild. They do that a lot, though, in like the Mandalorian and stuff, where they take concept art from the original trilogy that either wasn't used or whatever, and they use it for creatures in these Disney Plus shows. In the Mandalorian season 2, those ice spiders on the ice planet with the spiders, those were original concept art by Ralph McQuarrie for Dagobah. Those spiders were supposed to be with Yoda on Dagobah, but they were scrapped and then brought back years later. Yeah. That will be pretty cool. I have not seen that. I have not seen that. That guy B says, yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with it either. I agree. I don't know what that's referring to, but I agree too. Yes. It's more KOTOR. Rakatans could have glassed these worlds. Yeah, well, we talked about this before, but the word destroyed is a very broad term. You have destroyed as in like the Death Star blowing up a planet. You have destroyed as in like Mandalore being turned to glass by the Empire. But really, what do these 8 planets being destroyed mean? We even came up with the crazy theory of Darth Nihilus eating the planets, as he once did. But these other 8 planets were found and destroyed long ago. Not by the Death Star, not by the Empire, but long ago. So what that means might be revealed tomorrow in this 4th episode, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Your pal Joe says, it allows them to introduce Cal Kestis if they pull up to Tanalorr. Yes. The only thing is, I don't think Tanalorr is one of those hidden 9 planets, because the way you get introduced to Tanalorr and how Tanalorr looks and how it exists in the Jedi Survivor game is explained completely different than like At-Aten, completely different than all those other hidden planets. It was a High Republic era planet that had a Jedi temple on it. So I don't think it's really the same. They're definitely both hidden planets, that's for sure. But I don't know if they're the same. I still am holding out hope to see Cal Kestis in live action in the Skeleton Crew series, but I don't know. It's looking less and less likely every week. Same with Hondo Ohnaka, by the way. We're 3 episodes in, and yes, we did see his ship last week, but I want to see the guy himself. And now a little bit of doubt is being cast upon the fandom. Yeah. But At-Aten is still obviously trading in the wider galaxy. I don't think so. I really don't think they have any connections with the outside worlds. Because of the barrier, they're not allowed, it's illegal to have any starship enter or exit the barrier, meaning nobody's coming on or off world. Yes, they could technically have communications with the outside world, but I don't think any of the pedestrians do. I think only the supervisor does, and we don't even know if he actually exists. Yeah. I don't think the kids will be getting back to At-Aten until episode 7. Yeah, I'd probably say that too. Episode 6 or 7. Yeah. True. Wait, Jedi 3, the sequel to Jedi Survivor, could be finding the other 7 or 8 planets, including At-Aten. That would be wild. Again, I don't think so, but it would be wild. Yeah. Rollin, what's up? I think they'll be stopping at another planet. I think so too. I don't think episode 4 is them going back home. Not yet, at least. Not yet. And I think a lot of you agree. 88% of you guys right now say the kids are not going back to At-Aten this week, which I agree with. I agree with that completely. So let's put this poll away. Let's put this poll away. Now, I want to talk about something else. This is very, very important. And of course, I put it in the title and thumbnail of this video. And that is Djarin and Grogu, the Mandalorian himself. Let me put this in a poll in the chat too. Do you think Din and Grogu will be in Skeleton Crew. Not episode 4, but just in Skeleton Crew in general. Yes or no? Do you think Din and Grogu will be in Skeleton Crew? What do we think? And before you go, no, Skeleton Crew is going to be its own thing. They'll never show up in this show. Hear me out. Not only did we see X-Wings in the last episode from the New Republic, which, by the way, Din and Grogu are now working with that said New Republic, but also this show takes place in the Outer Rim. At least we're led to believe it's the Outer Rim. It's wild space, Outer Rim, beyond the core worlds, let's say. One of those Outer Rim planets, and yes, the Outer Rim is a very big place, but one of them is Navarro. Navarro is, of course, where Din and Grogu are right now, or at least so we believe. Din has now sort of affiliation for saving kids, and these kids seem to be in trouble. But the biggest sort of cherry on top for all of this, the reason I actually believe that Din and Grogu will show up in Skeleton Crew now more than ever is, yes, the X-Wings in the last episode, this New Republic connection. We're going to see more X-Wings in future episodes, as we've seen in the trailers. But it's the fact that the very next Mando project after Skeleton Crew is The Mandalorian and Grogu. Now, it doesn't come out until May 22nd, 2026, but Skeleton Crew is the last project to set up that movie. So we haven't seen Din and Grogu since 2022? When was The Mandalorian Season 3? Somebody in the chat help me out. When was The Mandalorian Season 3? Whenever that was the last time we saw Din and Grogu. They weren't in Ahsoka last year, and they haven't so far been in Skeleton Crew this year. So somehow, some way, this Skeleton Crew series, I believe, will be setting up the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Now, Din and Grogu, it was April 2023. Okay, so it's been a year and over a half. It's almost been, it's a year and a half about. So a year and a half since we've seen Din and Grogu last. And it's going to be another year and a half until we see them again. So 3 years in between seeing our two main characters here. Doesn't sound like a big, it's a pretty big gap, but it doesn't sound like it's going to happen that way. I think Din and Grogu will be in the Skeleton Crew series. Not as like a big role. They're not going to come in and steal the show. But in some sort of way, these two characters will be involved in the outcome of the Skeleton Crew series, setting up the next story, which is, of course, their movie. Whether it has to do with the remnant of the Empire or Grand Admiral Thrawn or none of that, and just the fact that they're New Republic connections to this Skeleton Crew series, I think Din and Grogu will be in this show. But, with that being said, tell me, do you think they'll be in the show? Wow. 65% of you guys right now say no. 65 say no. Well, that does mean, of course, 35 still say yes. 35% still say yes. But 65% of you say no. Why? Why would Din and Grogu not show up in this show? No, I hope not. Why not? Why not? Why not? Ghost Wolf says we need to know who allowed At-Atten to be hidden. I don't know if we'll get that answer actually in this show. Yes, we will, of course, get the kids back home. We will find out what's going on with Jod Nawood's character. I don't know if we'll get all the answers to the questions about these 9 hidden planets that were once the jewels of the Old Republic. I don't know if we'll get those answers. I just don't. I don't know if there's enough time, and I don't know if they're planning to explain everything in this first season. As we talked about last stream and the stream before that and the stream before that, John Watts and Chris Ford have been talking about their plans for a second season and how they have ideas in a setup sort of fail-safe because they know that the kids are going to get a lot older. So they're going to have a pretty big time jump in between seasons, at least, because they don't want to have a Stranger Things type issue on their hands where the kids get way older and they're playing still way younger. They don't want that to happen. Yeah. It's possible they did it with the Book of Boba Fett. Oh, it's possible that they could show up. They did it with the Book of Boba Fett. That's true. I mean, Din and Grogu came in and sort of stole the show in the Book of Boba Fett. That was for a little bit of a different reason. Mandalorian Season 3 was not ready, so to speak. There was some behind-the-scenes issues, which made them do the Book of Boba Fett first before Mando Season 3 and bring Din and Grogu back together in the Book of Boba Fett, which some fans really don't like. I don't mind it because Book of Boba Fett is underrated in my personal opinion. But, yeah, Din and Grogu came in and stole the show there. I don't think it'll be something similar to that. I think they will show up, but not like steal the show up. Not 2 full episodes focused on Din and Grogu show up, you know? Anklet, what's up? Sklee Bean says, I think so, because this is the last project before the Mandalorian movie. Yes, exactly. Imagine all of a sudden, without warning, then Mando theme tune drops. Yeah, imagine how cool that would be. Like the kids are trapped, they're pinned down, and they're about to die or something like that. Maybe even in this 4th episode. And then you just hear dum dum do 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 do. It'd be legendary. And maybe I'm just blinded by the possibility of seeing on the same screen together Grogu and NEEL. The duo that would probably save the entire universe. Grogu and NEEL having a conversation together would be incredible. And let's talk about this too. These Skeleton Crew characters are at some point going to go into the outside story, into the Mandoverse story. As when Dave Filoni's movie was announced all the way back in April of 2023, actually, a year and a half ago, when that movie for Dave Filoni was announced, it was announced as a combination movie of all these different shows. Not just The Mandalorian, not just Ahsoka, not just the Book of Boba Fett, but also Skeleton Crew. This Skeleton Crew of these 4 kids in Jodna and Nawood, they are going to play some sort of role in the greater Mandoverse story. They'll maybe even show up in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. I doubt that movie, but definitely in Dave Filoni's movie. Some of them, at least. And the question becomes, why would they show up in those movies? Well, maybe there's some sort of connection between them and Din and Grogu, because they showed up in their show. I don't know. Theory time. Grogu and Maz Kanata are cameos. Well, if there's Grogu, there's going to be Din Djarin. Maz Kanata is a good one, too. I like the Hondo and Maz theory because they're both very connected to the pirates, and this is a show about pirates. Hondo Naka, we can talk about in a little bit because some doubt is being cast upon whether or not he will actually show up in this series. But Maz Kanata is the queen of the pirates, and she lived for 1,000 years. So I feel like she, of all people, would know the most about these hidden planets. 9 hidden planets. She's alive for 1,000 years. She must have some sort of knowledge about these planets. Yoda would probably too, but he's dead. This is after Return of the Jedi. He's gone. So I think Maz, not only is she a pirate, the queen of the pirates, but she's also 1,000 years old and would probably know a little bit about At-Aten and all these other hidden jewels of the Old Republic. So seeing her would be pretty dang cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and let's talk about that too. As the Walking Carpet says, there's a bounty on their head now. So we know that bounty hunters are coming at some point in this series, as the line in the trailer changed from murderous pirates to murderous bounty hunters. And now in the last episode, it was confirmed that there's a bounty on these kids' heads. Brutus put a bounty on Jod and the kids' heads. That's important. Now we could be seeing bounty hunters in this Skeleton Crew series. That means Bosk, that means Dengar, that means IG-88, that means Zuckuss, that means Forlum. It could be anybody. But it could also be Din and Grogu. Yes, Din is working for the New Republic, but he's still technically a bounty hunter. So just another reason for him to show up. I've been thinking about it for a couple days now. I feel like Din and Grogu showing up is a no-brainer. There's too many connections there. From the New Republic to the Bounty Hunters to the X-Wings to the possibility of Skeleton Crew cast being shown up in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. The fact that the Mandalorian and Grogu movie is the next Star Wars project after this Skeleton Crew show. In the Mandoverse, I should say. Andor Season 2 still comes out before that. But it seems to me that they could show up. But again, tell me what you think in the chat. Rebel Sith says, no. Just because John Watts said that they're leaving it open in case there will be a season 2. They don't want to quit this show exactly somewhere in the timeline because these kids age. Interesting. So you think because the kids age quickly that they can't really have them involved with Din and Grogu because they're going to show up at a very different age later down the line? I don't know. There could be a time jump scenario where you don't need to worry about that. Yeah. Rad Rogue One. Oh, let's talk about, well, we won't talk about this for too long, but Rogue One is celebrating its 8-year anniversary today. Now, Rogue One has quickly become one of my favorite Star Wars movies of all time. It battles for the spot, but I think it might be my third favorite of all time. Maybe fourth, but it's arguably the third. It goes Revenge of the Sith, Empire Strikes Back, then Rogue One. The argument would be either Rogue One or A New Hope or Return of the Jedi. Those three movies are very close for that third spot. But Rogue One, arguably the third favorite movie of all time. It's celebrating its 8-year anniversary. And as Inklet just said in the chat, 8 years. It's crazy. That movie came out 8 years ago. That's wild. But now, 8 years later, or 8.5 years later, we're going to be watching Andor Season 2, which is going to lead right into Rogue One. So we're going to finally get the sort of end cap or beginning cap of that Rogue One story for Cassian and for all those other characters like K2SO and Krennic and all that stuff. That's pretty cool. Rogue One is the best? Okay. That's your personal opinion. Where does Rogue One rank for everybody else? On a list of top Star Wars movies, where is Rogue One? For me, it's Rogue One and then A New Hope. I'll fight you. Fight me. Fight me. I really don't care. Yeah. I saw Rogue One 3 times in theaters. It's the best. Number 1. Wow, we got some Rogue One love in the chat. Top 3 for sure. Nice. Number 5. Interesting. Rogue One is so good because it shows the Empire was actually a threat. That's true. Yeah. Rogue One is number 1 for Disney Star Wars. Okay. Rogue One's number 1. Revenge of the Sith number 2. Interesting. Rogue One is kind of dancing around 4th for me. Okay. Interesting. Don't hate me, but The Phantom Menace is one of my favorites. Why would I hate you for that? I think The Phantom Menace is and Attack of the Clones are severely underrated. Yeah. Explore the Force, what's up? Says, I enjoyed it. Would say top 5 at least. Nice. Nathan has it at 4. Should be Rogue Joe. Oh my. Yeah, Rogue One's incredible. We don't have to talk about it for too long, but it is incredible. All right, let's get back to this Din and Grogu showing up deal, okay? Let's get back to this. I know Rogue One's hype. We're all just having fun, but go with the cruise tomorrow. We got to talk about it.
This is where the fun begins.
You know, we got to talk about it. Okay. But Mando won't show up. Skeleton Crew is its own separate thing, but it does take place in the same time period. And at some point, it's going to connect to all of those other stories. So is it really its own thing? Is it? Jay's Official says, and Luke would appear as well, LOL. Well, Luke appearing and Din Djarin appearing are two very different things. Luke has no connection to these kids, no connection to, the New Republic, I would say. He's not working for the New Republic. He's not a bounty hunter. So all the reasons that Din could show up in the show don't pertain to Luke. Luke has no reason to show up. Din has all these reasons to show up. You know? BSW says Jod Na Nawood has got to be related to At-Atten. Related? It's too unusual a construction. Oh, because you're saying Na Nawood and At-Atten? Interesting. That is weird. You don't really see, you do see it a bit in Star Wars, like names like that, where it's like Nawood. That is weird. I never even thought of that. Maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe not. Maybe not. I think we could see the Shadow Council. And do you think that they will be left, or do you think that they'll be left for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie? Do I think we'll see the Shadow Council in Skeleton Crew? Probably not. I don't know. I don't know if they're really going to go the route of the Remnant of the Empire. It could either go one of two ways. One, we see not a single stormtrooper in this show, no even references to Thrawn, no nothing about the Remnant of the Empire, or it could be that all of this is sort of connected to the Remnant of the Empire. Thrawn comes in to find At-Atten because he knows that there's resources there and he needs resources to become the heir to the Empire. So it really could go either way. But I don't know. I don't know. Shadow Council? Maybe. Oh, Darth Plagueis lives with a very generous $5 holla. God damn. Says, I'm hoping for Din and Grogu, but do you think that any Skeleton Crew people will appear in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie? Ah, interesting. Well, we kind of just touched on this, but I don't know. I would probably say no, but let's ask the chat. Do you guys think that any of the Skeleton Crew cast, of course, our main kids or Jod, will show up in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie that comes out in a year and a half? What do we think? Yes or no? What do we think? I think it's more likely that Din and Grogu show up in this show than the kids showing up in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. I think it depends on how this season ends, obviously, where the kids are at and whether or not they'll show up in there. Yeah. It's a great question, though, and I appreciate the super chat. I really, really do. Super chats, memberships keep the lights on over here, and I appreciate it. And by the way, we are about halfway through the month, but I will say, next week we are doing a huge giveaway for the holiday season, or Christmas, because Christmas is next week. But for the holiday season, for those of you who don't celebrate Christmas, we will be doing a big giveaway for the holidays. So if you are not a member, think about becoming one because you don't want to miss out on that. But let me get back to the chat here. Where was I? JC says they did a great job of replicating the look of the original trilogy. I wish it wasn't as stiff, though, with the new technology, but it was a good replica in style form of trilogy. I don't know what that's referring to, but yes. I don't know. Rogue One is by far the best Disney Star Wars movie, but as someone who saw all the original films in the theaters when they were released, my favorite is The Empire Strikes Back. Well, there you go, Neil. I would have loved to be alive during that time to watch those movies in the theaters, but I wasn't. Okay? I wasn't. When does Solo fit into the list? That's my question. But where does Solo fit into the list of top Star Wars movies? Solo, I think, is very underrated, but it's still towards the back half of the list. It's not, to me, a top tier Star Wars movie. I mean, it's not the top of the list, let's say. So, in no particular, well, like, just off the top of my head, I haven't really given it that much thought right now, but it would be Revenge of the Sith, Empire Strikes Back, Rogue One, Return of the Jedi, A New Hope. Then The Phantom Menace, probably just because of the Duel of the Fates. Yeah. Then maybe The Force Awakens? Either that or Attack of the Clones. It's very close. Then Solo, I think. Yeah. Then Solo. Then Rise. Then Last Jedi, I guess. I don't know. The back half of that list is it can be sort of a little interchanged, but yeah, that's where I think it's at. Darth Drew, what's up? Darth Drew says, I just can't stop gushing over Skeleton Crew. I hope we can relish in the magic that we've created with this project moving forward. Okay, let's talk about the bad news when it comes to Skeleton Crew, because I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. Do not get me wrong. But we have to talk about the bad news. This is the second straight week where this show has not cracked the top 10 in views. Yes, when you go on Disney Plus, it's number 1 for Disney Plus shows, but in all shows across all streaming platforms, it has not cracked the top 10 in viewer numbers. Now, this was not that big of a surprise. This show coming in, the hype level was there for us hardcore fans. We were excited for it. But for the more normie fan of Star Wars, the people who go watch the Kenobi show or the Star Wars movies in the theaters, or just the more normie fans, we knew that they weren't that excited for Skeleton Crew because, one, it doesn't have a big name like Obi-Wan Kenobi attached to it, and two, it's called Skeleton Crew, and we really had no idea what it was going to be about, and we still, 3 episodes in, don't really know what it's going to be about the rest of the way. So it's sort of the mystery that has those normie fans not checking in on how good this show is. Now, a lot has changed since those first 2 episodes. It did receive a 95 or 96 on Rotten Tomatoes. The audience score was also very high, up in the 80s, high 80s. Fans now are saying how much they love it, and maybe word of mouth will get around to those other people. So I think the view numbers are actually going to go up until the 8th and final episode. And it could be a very strange deal where it might not be in the top 10 for streaming numbers in the first 2 weeks, but it might be by episode 5, 6, 7, 8. But I don't know. All I know is this show is spectacular and everybody should be watching it. But to get those normie fans to watch it is going to be a little bit more difficult than you would, especially than a show like Kenobi, which has Kenobi and Vader in it. Yeah. But I agree with you, Darth Drew, that this show is unbelievably good and they should learn from it for future projects. But the learning also has to be the other side of things. The fact that it's not getting that many streams or viewer numbers, and they need to learn from that too. Yeah. Yeah. Best any Star Wars is the Heir to the Empire trilogy. I mean, when you talk books, yeah, it's got to be up there. Legends material, it's definitely up there. But it's not canon, you know? Yeah, I know. I'm enjoying Star Wars Treasure Planet and need 5 seasons yesterday, LOL. Well, I don't think this show's going to get 5 seasons. Hopefully it gets a second season, but 5 seasons is a little crazy. A little crazy. Why is the planet called the Eternal Treasure? What kind of treasure is eternal? Well, I think it... yeah, that is weird. That is weird. Eternal implies, I mean, one, that it's been there for a long time, but that it's going to last forever. It's eternal. I don't know. I don't know why it's called the Eternal Treasure. Honestly, though, why do they even think there's a treasure there? Yes, there's a treasure in the trailer for this show, but why do people think that there is an eternal treasure on at Aten? If there was 9 hidden planets, I don't think you'd be hiding treasure on those planets. Yes, you'd be doing the great works, whatever that is, but treasure? When I think treasure, I think of like a pirate's treasure, like golden doubloons and stuff like that, and or the treasure vault that we see in the trailer. But I don't think that treasure vault is on at Aten. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting. Dead Mike says, is tomorrow's episode going to be a filler episode? No. I mean, I certainly hope not. No. I've always said this, and I still believe it to be true. In an 8-episode series, there should be no room for a filler episode. Now, The Mandalorian got caught up with that early, but it is 3 seasons. But The Mandalorian got caught up with that early. Like, yes, there's filler episodes in The Mandalorian, season 1, 2, and 3. But Ahsoka doesn't have a single one. The Acolyte didn't have a single one. And so far, Skeleton Crew hasn't either. And I hope that they learn their lesson from that fans are very opposed to the filler episode. You know? So I hope Skeleton Crew doesn't have any. Wouldn't that be nice? Jod has several names, Crimson Jack being one of his pirate names. And, and Captain Silva. That's true, and I actually don't think that Jod is his real name either. But that begs the question of what is his real name? And who is he? You know? Grogu joining the kids as an elder child would be so cute. I wonder if they planned to have Grogu find these kids, but the suit made him put Grogu back with the Mandalorian for money. Oh, the suits made them put Grogu back with the Mandalorian for money. I don't know if it was ever intended for Grogu to go with these kids. I just don't think it was. Maybe it is at some point in the future now, but I don't know. The clue is the blurred ship on the left. And what is the nature? And what is its nature on Manhattan? The blurred ship on the left? What are you talking about? What blurred ship on the left? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Oh, this was another behind the scenes look that I forgot to look at. Hang on. This is another behind the scenes look at episode 4 because this is the Daniel. There's our new kid character. Can somebody help me out on what her name is again? Because I think we know it. I just forget what it is. But there's the kid character again. We got, an adult. Looks like a Thorian adult. And, of course, NEEL. In this very broken down, rusty old planet. Yeah. That's another behind the scenes look at that. So this is going to be the next episode. This looks like one of their chairs from school, actually. Interesting. I do think this will be a cloned version of their planet that's sort of just lost and destroyed. Yeah. Interesting, though. Very interesting. Yeah. I need a great connection to this show and a bigger link to the unseen Star Wars, and I desire to see it. Oh, yeah, there's a bunch of added lore to Star Wars already with this show. I mean, these 9 planets being hidden away during the time of the Old Republic as the jewels of the Old Republic is already this massive new thing that can be explored more in the High Republic or the Old Republic whenever we get to them. It'll be awesome. But I hope there's more, yeah. YouTube Fun or YT Fun says Cal as the supervisor. No, I hope Cal Kestis is in this show. Don't get me wrong. But him as the supervisor wouldn't really make much sense. Because he obviously wasn't around all those years ago when these planets were originally hidden. And why would he be hiding this planet from the rest of the galaxy? You know? Yeah, no? Do you think that this planet somehow connects to the wills of the Force? Or the Mortis arc? No. No, I don't think it's really connected to the Force at all because it's just these 8-9 planets were hidden away by the Old Republic. I don't think this has anything to do with Force beings like the Mortis gods. Yeah. Skeleton Crew is a Treasure Planet cartoon. Kinda, yeah. I was doing some research into Brutus and his species, and he actually is not the same species as the one seen in the cantina on A New Hope. Really? Interesting. But they're both werewolves. Rebel Sith says, Episode 4, 99% of the classic ship must escape hyperspace for repairs, where we will get in the first few episodes with adventure. SM-33 will be working on the ship and keep reminding them that they shouldn't be able to fly it. Yeah, they're not getting to At-Aten, but I don't know if they're going to be blasted out of hyperspace like you mentioned. I actually think they're going to find the wrong planet, the wrong hidden planet. Yeah. Can I get some good cups follow orders in the chat, please? Bumpa. I swear, every episode these kids go back into hyperspace. Well, not the end of episode 2, but yes, the other 2 episodes. So you're 2 for 3. 2 out of 3 is pretty good odds. If I were a betting man, I'd probably put money on this 4th episode. Yeah. Yeah. I think Atten was hidden during the formation of the Republic. Oh, I already read that. Once I heard the name Crimson Jack, I knew I heard it before. It was originally in the Marvel Comics. He was a red-haired, red-pirated muscle pirate. Yeah, we did talk about that before. He's also in Legends and canon comics, so he does exist in canon as well. Maybe not the supervisor, but we discussed the fact that he could explore the rest of the 7 planets if Tanalorr is one of them in Jedi 3. I think, yeah. When Skeleton Crew was first announced all those years ago, I did say that I thought Cal Kestis would be in this show. I thought it would be the perfect opportunity because nobody really is hyped up for this show because there's no draw to it like Din and Grogu or Obi-Wan Kenobi and Vader or whatever it may be. Boba Fett. There's no draw like that to this show. You might want to surprise fans by introducing to live action for the first time ever Cal Kestis or whoever. Some big character. Hondo Unaka, Maz Kanata again, Omega, or Cal Kestis. And Cal Kestis seemed to always be the name that was there because it would make the most sense because he's coming to live action at some point with Marin because he has to play some sort of role in this Heir to the Empire dealio. But I feel like Skeleton Crew seems to be the best spot. Now, 3 episodes in, I have my doubts about that theory, but it's still a possibility. Getting to see Cal Kestis in live action in the Skeleton Crew show would be absolutely incredible. What's in the cup? What do you guys think's in the cup? What do you guys think's in the cup? Could Phoebe be in the show? Be the pirate from the Bad Batch? I mean, she could. She absolutely could. She'd be a lot older, that's for sure. But I don't know. What about Rex? Rex, to me, he'll definitely come into live action. Well, he did actually in Ahsoka, but he'll definitely come into live action in this Mandoverse time period at some point. There is no way that they are not going to give him the most epic death of any clone ever. And we've gotten some pretty epic deaths for clones in the Clone Wars series and in Rebels and stuff like that. But with Rex specifically, he is the clone. Like when we talk about pirates, Hondo Naka is the pirate. When we talk about clones, Captain Rex is the clone. He's the guy. So his death is going to have to be like the most meaningful, tragic, emotional death of any clone ever. And we've had some pretty crazy ones, from 99 to 5s to you name it. But Rex has to be the most emotional and crazy one. And could he show up in Skeleton Crew? Maybe. But will he show up anywhere else? That's a possibility too. Ahsoka Season 2 is probably the more likely one. Yeah. Rex could get his own series, I think, in the near future. A new animated series could be about Rex, but anything other than that, I don't think so. Yeah. Dump the water on my head? I already did that. I already did that for 100K subscribers. Yeah. So no thank you. If you want to watch that, you can go back and watch it again. It was too cold. I'm never doing it again. It's a one-time thing. Yeah. What about a return of Cad Bane? I don't really think he's dead. Yeah, I don't think he died in Book of Boba Fett either. But we can talk about bounty hunters because this might be the episode where the bounty hunters come into play. Brutus put out a bounty on those kids' head last episode. So it's likely that by the end of this 4th episode, they'll be being chased down by some bounty hunters. That'd be pretty cool. I'd be down for that. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think in the chat. Do you think we'll be seeing bounty hunters in the next episode? What do we think? Oh, Rose with a very generous $2 holla. I appreciate that, Rose, quite a bit. Says, time for a Brutus impression? Oh, I'll give you a Brutus impression. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find it. Brutus Skeleton Crew. Here we go.
Good men's lives lost for a single measly credit.
Okay.
Good men's lives lost for a single measly credit.
Good men's lives lost. Hang on, chat. Good men's lives lost.
Lives lost for a single
measly credit. Hang on. We're getting somewhere. Chat.
Good men's lives lost.
Good men's lives lost for a single measly credit. It's very hard to go that low, but I did try my best. I appreciate it, Rose. I really, really do. Of course, any super chats, memberships, they'll do any impression. I say it. Yeah, more gravel in the voice. Then I go into Chewbacca. Okay, but I appreciate it. All right, let me go back here. A one-on-one punch between Brutus versus Black Chrysanthemum. Who wins? I would say Chrysanthemum. He's a Wookiee. He's got the height advantage. He's got the strength advantage. Yeah, you got to go with Chrysanthemum there. Yeah. You got to go with Chrysanthemum. Absolutely. Hot take. Not everyone needs a big death. Take Joel, for example. He died in a dumb way, or a dumb death, sorry, but it doesn't make sense in the world that he lived in. True. But having said that, when you look at Dave Filoni in his history with killing off clones, he's going to give Rex the best death possible. Yeah. Yeah. Neil says, I wish they would just resurrect Aura Singh. Nobody's really dead in Star Wars these days. How did she die again? Because she's, a badass bounty hunter. It'd be cool to see her, but how did she die? Do you think anyone will die in Skeleton Crew? Maybe pirates, but any of the heroes, like the main four kids and their parents and Jod? Probably not. Yeah, I don't think so. For once, I actually don't think so. I don't. We need more of the Acolyte? Yeah, I hope so too. Better not be Neil. Oh, Neil's going to die for sure. Yeah, no, of course. Neil's a goner. Kidding. I'm kidding. You said episode 7 would be all flashbacks. Maybe not just Jod Na would, but and Nina Na would, but also flashbacks to At-Aten in the ancient At-Aten. That'd be sick. Well, I didn't say it would be all flashbacks. I just think episode 7 will have some flashbacks to what Jod in his backstory is all about. Maybe it's not even flashbacks. Maybe it's just an explanation. I just think episode 7 will be when we learn all of that. Episode 7 will be all the answers that we've been looking for. Yeah. Yeah. They would never kill a kid.
Incorrect.
may I remind you of this thing that happened not so long ago.
Execute Order 66.
Quite a few kids died in that one. Yeah. Episode 7 will just be Neil in a bubble bath. Oh my God, we're losing it. We're losing it, chat. Let's get back on topic here, shall we? Shall we? Okay. Where was I? It will end in a cliffhanger? I think so too. Yeah, I think this show will end in a cliffhanger, possibly setting up a second season, possibly setting up the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Absolutely. Yeah. Getting ready for a Neil-centered episode 4. Okay, but what does that really mean? What does a Neil-centered episode 4 mean? What are we going to learn about the backstory of Neil? No, we know his backstory. He's from At-Atten. He did nothing when growing up except for just live on At-Atten with his family. So what is a Neil-centered episode even going to look like? Anybody? He dies? Oh my God. Imagine Neil dies in episode 4. That would be a big twist. If Neil died, that would be insane. And let's not forget about KB's medical issue or medical, what was it? Medical something that she, hang on. Let me go find it. So at the beginning of episode 3, some very keen-eyed fans noticed this cool detail. Find it really quickly. At the very beginning, when the parents are freaking out about their kids being missing, KB's mom says this. The supervisor is unable to risk contact. Damn the risk, it's our kids. And then she says, our daughter has an urgent medical need, or has very urgent medical needs. So this very urgent medical need, right here, our daughter has very urgent medical needs. What does that mean? Like, is KB just going to keel over and die in episode 4, or what does that mean? What does a very urgent medical need on At-Atten look like? That's a big question going into episode 4, too. Neil gets crushed in a trash compactor? What the hell? You guys are crazy. Yeah. Urgent medical needs. What does that mean? And is this actually going to become a big issue moving forward for KB? Because so far she hasn't had anything where she's like dying or anything like that. Maybe her robot brain needs to be reset. Interesting. Maybe. We've seen Neil trusted with control of the ship. Will we eventually see Neil leading an army into battle? I don't know. That's crazy. Chill. If they kill Neil, it'll need to be in Yord style. Oh my God. But if they kill him, I'm going to be so mad. If they killed off Neil, like actually killed off Neil, there would be riots in the streets. Like, fans have fallen so in love with this character like he's Grogu or whatever. Like, they would never do that. I think she's very force sensitive, or whatever she's wearing on her head helps control that. Interesting. This was brought up last stream too. Whatever is on KB's head is actually limiting her as she is force sensitive. That would be interesting. Because KB is the only one who has that sort of technology in her head, and maybe it's actually to dampen her force abilities. That would be wild. I like that theory, but it's pretty insane when you think about it. You could also make the theory that this Neil-centered episode is a Neil-centered episode because he could be the force-sensitive one. And we're all just talking about one of these kids being force-sensitive. And if I were to guess on any of them being force-sensitive, it would be Wim because of his fascination with the Jedi and the Sith, and he might actually become one himself. Maybe train with Luke Skywalker. That would be insane. I mentioned this months ago, but the possibility that one of these kids, if not all of these kids, eventually joining Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple. I would assume it would be one, not all, but one of these kids joining Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple, and then eventually you grow with this character, you become attached to this character, and you find out that, or I guess we already know, but you find out that Kylo Ren slaughters them in his version of an Order 66 right before the sequel trilogy. That would be pretty wild. Yeah. Wim will be devastated when he learns about Order 66. Yeah, that's true, because he still thinks the Jedi are the keepers of the peace around the galaxy. All these kids are in for a rude awakening when they actually find out what's really going on in this real world out here. Yeah. Don't worry about it, Mando United. I appreciate you coming here. Would the planet be on Jedi holocrons, do you think? No, probably not. Jedi holocrons are more so used as like training, you know? Like when Kanan has the holocron of Obi-Wan? Or no. When Ahsoka has the holocron of Anakin? In Rebels, somebody has a training holocron. I think they're more so for training. Yes, they can have like lists on them and stuff. So maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Mike, who is your favorite Star Wars character, favorite Star Wars movie, least favorite Star Wars character, least favorite Star Wars movie, and favorite upcoming Star Wars project? All right, let me go through this. Favorite Star Wars character is Anakin, with second place Ahsoka, third place Maul. Favorite, least favorite Star Wars movie. Favorite show. Sorry, favorite show first. Favorite show is Ahsoka, single season, but a full show will be 4 seasons of Rebels. Least favorite movie, or least favorite character. Least favorite character. Least favorite. Sid, of course. Sid, obviously. Sid's the worst. And favorite upcoming Star Wars project, Ahsoka season 2. Maybe Dawn of the Jedi, but Ahsoka season 2. Because it's closer. KB is Force sensitive, but her moms don't recognize it or understand the Force, and therefore they see it as a medical condition. Interesting. I like that theory quite a bit. I do indeed. Could the kids turn into the Knights of Ren? I don't think so. I think they're too young for that. The Knights of Ren are already around at this time. Yeah, they're already around at this time. They're in the War of the Bounty Hunter comics with the Crimson Dawn and all that stuff. And those are canon. Yeah. If they went ahead and deleted Jackie, no one is safe, bro. That's true. I mean, they did kill off Jackie pretty quick. But I don't see Skeleton Crew going down that route. Like, we were leading up to that big, huge, all the Jedi die in that forest sequence in the Acolyte for some time. Skeleton Crew does not have that feel to it. I don't think that these people are all going to die one after the other with their necks being snapped or their body being stabbed 3 times. And I don't think this has the same feeling as the Acolyte did. Yeah. Yeah. RG says, yeah, Wim was on Star Wars Sith stream, and a guest was mentioned. Hang on, this is in English. A guest mentioned that the Force theme slightly played when they focused on Wim's dad taking off his glasses. The Force theme played. I'm gonna have to listen to this. Hang on, chat. The Force theme, you say?
Believe contact outside the barrier is forbidden. Travel outside the barrier is forbidden. Any violation of Planet Wi-Fi.
No, that's not the Force theme. No, that was not the Force theme. As much as I would have liked it to be, it was not the Force theme. Yeah. Who are you kidding? You actually think that the Origins of the Jedi movie will actually be filmed? Yes, 100%. The current track record for Disney canceling films is great. Isn't great. True. I fully understand that, but I think Dawn of the Jedi is a top priority. James Mangold, Mr. Willimon. Here's the thing. It's not just like an idea. This is actually, there's a draft for it already being created. Mr. Willimon is coming over from Andor. James Mangold has already worked on Disney projects Like, this is, I think, if any of these Star Wars movies are being made after the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, it's Dawn of the Jedi. Even more so than the Rey movie. Yeah. Indeed. Wim has a book that tells him stories about Tales of the Jedi. There's no way his mom didn't know about that. Yeah, I think his mom actually is the one who gave it to him. It is weird when you think about it, because these people on this planet know about the Jedi. They know about the Sith. They know about all these different stories, because that's probably when they went into hiding. And they've just been trapped in that sort of same place in time for who knows how long. But strangely enough, nobody else on the planet has these stories of the Jedi except for Wim. So maybe his mom or somebody else got them for him. Absolutely. Yeah. I think the kids will become the Knights of Ren. It's a good tie-in. It will be a good tie-in, but the Knights of Ren already exist. They're already in canon. John did not exactly say he was a Jedi. What do you think he meant by that? I think he thinks of himself as not a Jedi now. Was he a Jedi who survived Order 66 at one point? Maybe. But I don't think he thinks of himself as a Jedi now, currently. Let's talk about that. We talked about it on Saturday's stream, but let's talk about it a little bit more. Is John Na Nawood a Jedi who survived Order 66? Or is he something else? Is he a Jedi? Is he a Sith? What is he? We talked about it on Saturday's stream, but Jude Law mentions that his childhood was taken away from him. Stolen away from him. Meaning, he grew up not like these kids. He's not as innocent as these kids. He was immediately introduced to how rough and hard the galaxy is. Could that mean that he was stolen away from his parents and that's his childhood being taken? Taken by the Jedi to train to become a Jedi? And then Order 66 happens and he goes away from the Jedi Order? Or did his parents die very young and he got thrown into this crazy galaxy? Then how did he learn to wield the Force? Who is he? I think he's probably just Force sensitive, but then how is he able to lift a key across the room? There's a difference between being Force sensitive and being able to wield the Force. You know? And there's also a difference between being able to wield the Force and being able to actually control the wielding of the Force. Like we mentioned on Saturday, we see the kid from the Bad Batch, the very baby kid, use the Force to just like accidentally throw something across the room. But being able to actually control that and use the Force to grab something or do something specific, that's a completely different thing. That takes training, probably years of training. He says he's a Jedi, but in reality, he failed and was cast aside. Interesting. But he must not have failed that hard if he's using the Force. Jamie says Hera and Chopper could show up. Interesting. With the connection of the New Republic, there's a possibility. We thought we were going to see Carson Teva last week. We didn't. We saw this Clark Kent Superman instead. But Carson Teva was not in the show. It was a very, very easy opportunity to allow us to see Carson, connect everything together. But they didn't. Is it possible that we will be seeing him later on? Or, like Jamie says, could we be seeing Hera and Chopper right alongside? Hera and Chopper would be really cool. First of all, because Chopper's the GOAT, right? Exactly. And Hera would be a connection to Ahsoka and a connection to the greater story that's going on with the Heir to the Empire. Steven says, I think Zeb will show up with Carson Teva. Well, Zeb would likely be in the Razor Crest that we see him in the teaser for The Mandalorian and Grogu, which would be wild. But I'd love to see Zeb again. Zeb only showed up in The Mandalorian Season 3, and seeing him in this show would be wild. Would be wild. There's something new on my live stream for some reason. It says goal up at the top. I don't know what this is. Make super chats more fun with a goal? What? Set a goal to encourage your audience in a new way. Once you reach the goal, celebrate with your community. Oh, it's like set a goal for super chats? Oh, okay, never mind. Never mind then. Okay, where was I? Jod was raised by pirates, but then when did he learn to wield the Force? That's the problem. I can see that, like his parents died at a young age or something like that, and then he has to survive with the pirates and learn to wield the Force somehow, but who taught him and how? That's the big question. He taught himself how to use the Force for his own advantage. He became an outlaw, a survivor, and even a pirate. So at one point, he did learn from the Jedi, or he just was a Jedi. His parents died at a very young age, and he raised himself alone. Post Order 66, he met a girl on the run and scared. He helped her, sheltered her, hid her, and fell in love, and that was a Jedi who survived Order 66 named Nina Nawood. Nina helped him discover the Force, discover that he was Force sensitive. She trained him to the best that she could, but later on she was killed by the Empire. He learned how to hide his abilities. That is the coolest theory I've ever heard. Imagine. Let's just take a second and imagine this. Episode 7, flashback scene. That's the flashback noise that makes, like, okay. Flashback scene. Jod's parents die at a really young age. He's off doing his own thing. He comes upon, around the age of 23, comes upon this female character who was a Jedi who survived Order 66. Helps her hide, and she helps him wield the Force. Her name, Nina Nawood. So eventually he'll steal her name. But she dies to the Empire. And to the Empire means an Inquisitor or a Vader hunts her down and kills her. So the flashback scene is not only Jod learning the Force from this mysterious Jedi who survived Order 66, but also getting to see that Jedi die to Vader or an Inquisitor? That would be insane. That would be insane. Mike, he said he's practicing. Practicing who said he's practicing? Who practiced said who what? He survived Order 66 and is something else. Interesting. Jod was saying, yes, he could get the droid back. The answer just made it seem like he was saying he was a Jedi, but he wasn't. Or started training. No, I've watched that back because you guys have said that before, that is just the way he worded it was weird. No, he's actually answering the question that he's not a Jedi, or he is a Jedi, because he said, of course. Yeah. Jod could have found a holocron or two along the way during his plundering, and perhaps helped him train, but he would have to use the Force to open the holocron, which is not an easy task. Do you think that Atten is under Imperial rule, but kept hidden, or do you think the good guys went out of the way to protect the planet? I actually don't think either are the case. The Empire definitely didn't find it because it would just be under the Imperial rule if that was the case. And I don't think the good guys went out of their way to protect the planet either. I think it was just so well hidden by whoever hid it all those years ago that nobody was able to find it. Yeah. Yeah. Damien says, he has only done simple things, move small stuff like a key and switch on and off the lights. Stuff that you could learn yourself. I don't know if you could, though. Like, grabbing a key across the room is pretty difficult. Yes, turning off the lights is probably an easier task and whatever, but I don't know. There's so many Star Wars songs people made that are just great. You want to hear one right now? Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars. No. Mike, I believe that Jod has a Force connection over generations in his family. Maybe one or two of them have been members of the Jedi Order. His Force powers appear in his youth. But that would imply that he has family that were Jedi too, and they are not able to reproduce as Jedi because they're not supposed to have attachments. Mike's ignoring me? What? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Fearless, what'd you say? There's a lot of chat today. I'm trying to keep up. Question, Mike. How did the first Jedi learn how to use the Force? Training. Now, we don't know how. Could have been through the wills, somebody talking to them through the Force, or yes, it could have been through trial and error. But still, that is considered training. And Jod is not going to just be out here wielding the Force without training. This chat is bumping. It really is. I'm trying to keep up. I'm trying to keep up. Thanks, Mike. I didn't even consider seeing an Inquisitor killer in the flashbacks. Thought that is what I bunk happen. What? It still happens though. Charlie says. I don't know what you're referring to. Is everyone looking forward to episode 4? Yes. All right. Actually, let me ask you guys this. On a scale of 1 to 10, what? Actually, let's put it this way: a prediction for how good episode 8 is going to be on a scale of 1 to 10. So, like, after we watch the episode, I say, what did you think of that episode on a scale of 1 to 10? Now, before that episode is released, what do you think episode 4 will be? I give episode 1 an 8. I give episode 2 a 9. I give episode 3 a 9. On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think episode 4 will be? Obviously, you want to say a 10 because you're hoping for the best. But what we've actually predicted today about this war-torn planet that we think we're going to that isn't At-Atten, but could be a clone version of At-Atten, a NEEL-centered episode directed by the Daniels, how good do you think that episode's going to be? These are my scores. 10, 20, 7.5, 6, 3, 9, 1. Okay. A 10, 9, 8, 8.5, 8.4, 7, 12, 8, 8.5, 4, 10, 9.5. Jesus. Someone is controlling the money flow from At-Atten, meaning someone hid the planet intentionally and is still in control. I don't know if they are, like, having money flow in and out of At-Atten. I don't know if that's the case. We have no idea, because ships can't enter or leave, so no money is entering or leaving either. You know? You don't need to be trained in the Force to use it. Just look at the children Cad Bane took in the Clone Wars. True to an extent. Yes, there are more people who are gifted with the Force than others, but you need some sort of training to be able to control the Force. Those kids in the Clone Wars were using the Force, but they weren't really in control to an extent. It's not like we've been seeing Jod do the exact same thing every time. Using the Force to grab a key off the wall is different than using the Force to turn off the lights or using the Force to make a noise down the hall. They're very different things. Palpatine needed money for cloning, as we see in the Bad Batch. Maybe the money could have come from At-Atten. But I don't think this is going to have to do with Palpatine's cloning. I don't. Now, this is crazy. I have no idea where this show is going to go. Who it's going to be geared towards. Broom Boy from The Last Jedi, that's true. Yep, Broom Boy with The Last Jedi. But all he really did was just have a broom go from here to here. Like, it wasn't that crazy. It's not grabbing a key from across the room or turning off a light or making a noise happen down the hall. And let's take another look at awesome me as a bobblehead. Okay. But yeah. Apparently, John Watts said that when they talk about the Old Republic, they're actually referring to the Republic of the prequel trilogy. I know he said that, but I don't believe him for many different reasons. One being that when Kim talks about these 9 planets being the jewels of the Old Republic and being put into hiding a long time ago, she also says that the other 8 planets were destroyed long ago. Long ago doesn't make me think 30 years ago during the time of the Republic. It makes me think hundreds, thousands of years ago, long ago. So I think in some forms it's referring to the Republic, but not in all of them. Like the Republic credits, maybe, but the Republic has been around for so long before that. Like the High Republic is the same as the Republic, it's just a different time period in the era, in the timeline that we're referring to. Yeah. Where did you get your own bobblehead? I got it when I hit 100K. My brothers gave it to me, actually. Pretty sick. Yeah. Jod isn't lifting boulders or X-Wings. He's basically, oh my God. It's true he's not lifting these massive objects, but let's remember that Luke Skywalker couldn't do that either in The Empire Strikes Back. But Yoda could. We're not talking that Jod is trained like Yoda, like the Grand Master of the Jedi Council. What if they're all pirates? What do you mean, the people of Ad-Adden? Congrats on your 100K bobblehead. Thanks. 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 Okay, Jod's pirate name is Crimson Jack. And there's Jack, and he there is not read about the dude. What? I'm waiting for a red lightsaber? He there is not read about the dude? I don't think that's English, Damien. That's actually a great point. Luke got his lightsaber on Hoth using the Force with no training. On Hoth, did Luke have any training? Well, he trained with Obi-Wan a little bit in A New Hope, but you are right. He did not have any training other than Obi-Wan. I don't know. Maybe because it was a dire, crucial situation. What I see is when Jod is using the Force, he's not really, it doesn't take him any effort to do so. And he's using it like it's nothing. There's some fans that actually think he's not even using the Force either, that it's all just a trick, like he's got the buttons or whatever, like Haja in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. I don't think that's what's going on. But I do think he has some sort of training. I'm convinced episode 4 goes to Hoth? What? Because of the Navi Bank? There is that snowy planet. I don't think it's Hoth. It doesn't really look like Hoth, but maybe. Maybe. Put the bobblehead near Chopper. I can do that. Actually, I like the bobblehead in front of me, though. Now, because I'm going to put we're going to get the 100K plaque in the mail at some point this week, hopefully. And that will be going right in front of Chopper. Or maybe right behind Chopper. I don't know where I'm going to put it yet. Over there somewhere. Yeah. Let's put this up. Let's put this up in a poll because this one's been up for a while. By the way, do you guys think that Grogu and Din will be in the Skeleton Crew? 71% of you guys say no. Interesting. I'm going to disagree with that. I think he is, but we'll have to wait and see. I want to put up a new poll. Do you think Thrawn will be mentioned / seen in Skeleton Crew at all? Not just episode 4, but Skeleton Crew at all. Yes or no? Do you think Grand Admiral Thrawn and the Remnant of the Empire will be mentioned or seen in any sort of way in the Skeleton Crew series? Will him becoming the heir to the Empire have anything to do with Ad-Adden, with the hidden planet of Ad-Adden? Yes or no? I'm very intrigued to see what you guys think of this. Because, yes, Thrawn is going to be set up as the heir to the Empire. He was in Ahsoka, and he will be probably in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie and Ahsoka Season 2. But will he show up in mention or in actual scenes in Skeleton Crew? The Rebel Sith, says, or who said not Old Republic? Remember that parchment paper is in Star Wars is ancient, very ancient. And the Ad-Adden scroll had been from the original Republic, Proto-Republic, meaning preceding or original Republic. Yes, that is true. And yeah, paper's not really used in Star Wars at all, except for in scrolls, I guess. Indeed. That is why they have been originally hidden in the early days of the Republic. I agree with that. I don't think Thrawn will be in it. Interesting. Mention only, but mentioned 100%. Interesting. Only a brief mention. So you guys do think he'll be mentioned. Fascinating. Seriously, Star Wars, what's up? How we doing? Robert says, is he still on Peridia at this point? No. This is after Ahsoka. So it would be, he'd be back. He'd be on Dothamir doing his thing, hanging out, having fun, getting ready to take over the Empire. I mean, the galaxy as the heir to the Empire. I hope so. And if, like I said earlier, we see the Shadow Council needs to, as well, if it's after Ahsoka Season 2. Well, I think Ahsoka Season 2 is going to set up Thrawn as the heir to the Empire even more, along with the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. But I feel like Thrawn needs to be mentioned, or seen, or at least mentioned in this show. He needs to be the sort of glue that connects all of this. He needs to be the main villain that connects to everything else. Yeah. I'm hoping that the supervisor will give us a hint towards Thrawn. Interesting. What if Thrawn is the one running At-Aten? Well, that would kind of be impossible. Because At-Aten has been being run in secret for all these years, and Thrawn went to Peridia for 11 years. So I don't think Thrawn's in charge. I'm kind of in between on whether or not Thrawn will be in it or not. Is there an option for maybe? No. It's a yes or no question. No maybes. Anthony says, Mike, though I don't believe that Thrawn will show up in Skeleton Crew, I do think that we will see the remnant of the Empire in it. Remember, there are also remnants of warlords roaming around the galaxy. That's true. Not everybody's connected to Grand Admiral Thrawn. Not everybody believes in Grand Admiral Thrawn. True. Thrawn versus NEEL? That's a whole lot of blue. That is a whole lot of blue. The big blue meanie versus the big blue meanie versus the small blue nicey? The big blue meanie versus the small light blue elephant. Yeah. NEEL solos Thrawn. Yeah. Yeah. SM33 said that he's the owner of the ship, and there is a female pirate. What are you talking about? I think it's more likely that Din and Grogu will show up in the Skeleton Crew. They're just doing jobs for the New Republic now, and the Republic is hunting Crimson Jack. That's what I'm saying. But apparently 71% of you guys don't agree with me. 71% of you guys are like, no, Din and Grogu won't show up in this show. Yeah. Yeah. Would the Chiss have ever... Wait, what? Would the Chiss have ever heard of these hidden worlds? I don't know, maybe. We don't know about anybody who's heard of these hidden worlds, as we don't know. These are brand new things in the Star Wars lore, which is cool. I believe that the way that he could be charged... Hang on. I believe there's a way that he could be charged in some extent, since he was a part of the Republic before the Empire. Oh, in charge, sorry. In some sort of extent, Thrawn, that is, because he was part of the Republic before the Empire, and the people of At-Aten still think that the galaxy is ruled by the Republic. That is true, but again, Thrawn has been gone for all these years, so he wouldn't be able to be in control. Now, he could come in and convince all these people to join him because he needs their resources. That's a possibility. Yeah. I have a wild theory about the supervisor. If we are talking about a Wizard of Oz type scenario, then it could be Jod. I don't know. Jod's looking for this planet. How would he not, no. There's no way. He's the one looking for the planet. Somehow Moff Gideon returned. A lot of people want that. Of course, there's the theory about the no mustache. He had no mustache in season 3. But I'm not a fan. keep Moff Gideon dead. Hashtag keep Moff Gideon dead. I loved Gideon as a character. He was a great villain for the first 3 episodes of The Mandalorian, but it's Thrawn time. It's Big Blue Meanie time. I don't need more Moff Gideon. God. But Thrawn being gone might be why nobody can get a hold of the supervisor. Maybe. Hashtag keep Moff dead. Nice. Yeah. All right, let me end this poll too. So, you guys think that Thrawn will be mentioned or seen in the Skeleton Crew series? 52% of you say yes. Math is not mathing, but that's a lot higher than I thought it was going to be. A lot higher than I thought it was going to be. Jod got trained when he was super young and kept his way quiet. It's possible. I mean, clearly the pirates don't know that he's force sensitive because they wouldn't have locked him in a room where the key's right on the wall for him to grab. So the pirates don't even know that he's force sensitive. He's been keeping this hidden for quite some time. Maybe that was the first time he even used the force, if he was a Jedi during Order 66, since Order 66. That'd be wild. What if At-Aten isn't connected to the Remnant at all, or at least yet, and Thrawn discovers and defeats the New Republic in this big battle? It's possible. The fight for At-Aten. That'd be cool. Love the Chiss, probably one of my favorite species. Yeah, they're so badass. And Thrawn, of course, is badass himself, but the whole species is sick. Indeed. Yeah. The Chiss, or Chips, probably, didn't give a hootenanny about the rest of the galaxy at the time of the Old Republic and like to stick to themselves. Yeah, they did like to stick to themselves anyway. That is true. This would be a big setup for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. His first big win would be getting At-Aten. Yeah, that would be big. Twould be big. Twould indeed. All right, but I do have to get on out of here. I do have to go get on out of here because we've almost hit the 2-hour mark and I got to go take a pee. But watch out for a short tomorrow and, of course, our watch party tomorrow night for episode 4 of Skeleton Crew. Throw in your last-minute predictions for this 4th episode right now in the chat, or forever be the guy who said, oh, I would have said that, but I didn't have time to say that. You didn't give me a time to predict for the 4th episode, Mike. You stupid idiot. No, this is your time. Predict the 4th episode right now. Or else. Christopher Lee is running security on At-Aten too after his Mando appearance, LOL. No, but that's a good one. Jod can only use the Force when KB is nearby. He uses the Force sensitivity energy to boost his undeveloped Force abilities. That's not how the Force works. No, I just wanted to say that. I don't think that's how the Force works. No. No. Can't be there tomorrow, Mike, working Wednesday. Oh, no, working Wednesday, that blows. Well, John, I guess we'll just have to spoil it for you. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. NEEL will be in it. There we go. That's a good theory. NEEL will be in it. Perfect. That's a great theory. Oh, yeah. Join the Discord. If you are not yet in the Discord, there's a link in the description below to a Discord called The People Who Love Star Wars. Go continue the conversation there and keep it going until the end of time. Yeah. Oh, and smash a freaking like on the stream if you have not already. Hit that subscribe, hit that bell so you're notified every time I post a video and my pretty face shows up in the recommended feed of yours. Again, smash a freaking like on this stream. But I appreciate you guys. Watch out for that watch party tomorrow. And of course, a short as well. Breakdown video on Wednesday, very early in the morning. And I don't know what our plan is for next week, as Christmas is next week. But I'll keep you guys updated on that because I think they're still releasing a episode on Christmas Eve, because Christmas Eve is when the next episode's supposed to come out. Actually, let me double check that. Yeah, so episode 5 by Jake Schreier is on December 24th, which is Christmas Eve. So it does seem like we'll be doing Christmas Eve live stream watch party for Skeleton Crew, which kind of is a bummer because that means I'll be up editing when Santa comes. Hopefully he's not too mad, but I'll just close my eyes when he comes in. Yeah, so we'll go with that. Okay. So December 24th is Christmas Eve, and there will be an episode then. But we'll figure it out. Yeah. Where's that link? Oh, the Discord? There's a link in the description. So if you click on the description of this live stream, then you'll see it. There's 2 links. One's to become a member and one's to join the Discord. Yeah. Somebody just joined. RG just joined. There you go. There you go. All right. But until then, may the force be with you. Always. Oh, yeah. What a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. I appreciate you all so much more than you will ever know. I can't wait for this 4th episode. I have no idea really what to expect moving forward in this show. But the speculation this week, more than ever, was incredible. So until then, I appreciate you all. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, great rest of your lives. And good night, everybody.